Coach Tony, Risling Podium Performance, and today is Thursday. We're going to be doing another 6-12-25 arm workout. It's going to be the reverse curls standing, followed by standing hammer curls with dumbbells, and then the incline dumbbell curls. Last week I just did it with regular dumbbells. This time I'm adding the fat grips to these, a little bit more neural drive into the forearms. It's still going to be pretty brutal overall. The 25 reps to get there is just going to be tough. And then on the triceps, going to be jumping into some reverse grip skull crushers again, followed by the overhead French press over on the cable, and then some tricep press downs using the band. So if you like this type of content, as well as the insights I give into my own thought processes behind the workout, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below with any questions and comments you may have. Anyways, let's hop in. All right, so just before I get started with the first set here, just a little note on the 6-12-25. It is going to be hard. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to take you to failure and beyond. And then one of the great things when you're doing like arms, for example, you don't need to take up very much space. All three exercises that I'm going to be doing is taking up the space it takes for a single bench, on a single adjustable bench. You don't need to be taking up half the gym, which so many people think that you need to do in order to be able to do an effective tricep. I'm showing you, you don't need that much equipment or space. If you've got a set of adjustable dumbbells, you can do this right at home. 3 exercises back to back. Simplify things. Okay, so here we go on the first set. So where I'm holding this on the easy curl bar is on the outermost kind of part of the cambered. So this way I have a semi-pronated grip. It makes it a little easier on the wrists, but I'm really focusing here on initiating and not trying to swing with it. Eventually, just because of the weight being out in front of me and it being like half my body weight, it is going to cause me to sway a little bit. But 6 reps felt good. Into the hammer curls. These slightly cross body. It was just the most comfortable position overall with these. I'm focusing really hard here on just bringing them up at the same time, simultaneously, squeezing at the top on every rep. It's aiming to be about 2 seconds down. As you can see, it's a little faster. That's my fault. And this week I used the fat grips on the supinated dumbbell incline curls. This makes it so that there's a little more neural drive to my forearms, and you don't necessarily need to have as much weight to get the same response. So this way I'm working my forearms a little bit harder without having to jack up the weight, while also really loading up on the biceps brachii. By being fully supinated, the 2 main muscles that I'm working here are the biceps brachii and this nice little muscle with a really original name called the supinator. As you can see, it really starts to hurt, and it's only a 15-pound dumbbell in each hand. So the lactate really builds quickly. So you might wonder, why am I doing 3 different grips but still just basically doing bicep curls? The reason for that is when you go with an overhand grip, you're actually not working the biceps brachii. With the overhand grips, like majorly pronated, you're semi-pronated, you're primarily going to be working your brachialis and brachiradialis. And then as you go into the hammer grip, you're going to be taking a little bit of one of those muscles out and emphasizing another one a little bit more. And then when you're fully supinated, you take the brachialis and brachiradialis out of the equation, and now you're working on your biceps brachii. So the brachialis and the brachiradialis kind of sit underneath a little bit your actual biceps brachii. So when you're doing regular curls with the palms up, those muscles aren't working as much. You're just working the one that you can see. Whereas by working those other muscles, you're actually, one, going to help develop them hypertrophy-wise. So when they grow, they're actually going to push the biceps brachii up, giving the illusion that your biceps are bigger. And 2, it's all going to help to become more elbow protective, shoulder protective, as well as forearm protective. Because when you build up the strength of all the muscles, and you do it in a way that they're kind of in concert with each other and in balance, you're going to get it so that you're at less risk for injury. When you keep things balanced out, you don't run into imbalances, and imbalances lead to compensation patterns and injuries. When you develop all 3 of those kind of grips and kind of primary movers in concert with one another, you're only going to have benefits from it. And the same thing goes with when I get into the triceps, which I'll explain once I get there. All right, so now into sets 2 and 3 for the 6-4-25 on the reverse curl. So I've got fairly solid control on both of these, but you're going to notice that on the 3rd set, the control starts to just fall off right there, I'm not able to go as slow on the way down, especially in that bottom portion, and I had to take a quick little breather there just because things just weren't feeling good by that point. But that's to be expected by the time you get to the end of the set. And then we get into the hammer curls, and this was just grip it and rip it. It's the only way to kind of describe it. It felt overall pretty good. Just really focusing on trying not to let the hands kind of rotate in either direction. And here, okay, the third set, I already started here, but you're going to notice that while it's basically 1 second up, 1 second down, all of a sudden that third set on the right here, it's like a monkey jumps on the arms right there. And now I have to start taking little breaks between the reps. And the reason for that is just simply my arms are just on fire. You might even notice, okay, the veins are starting to pop out, even in my face and on my forehead as I'm gritting, as I'm really exerting just to finish it off. In order for me to get to the end, on the third set especially, I had to kind of tilt my head forward instead of having it sit back in the perfect position, because that's the only way I could actually complete it. And that's what you're going to expect as you go. All right, so just as I'm about to jump into the triceps part, I'm going to give a quick primer as to why I do the 3 different exercises. The reverse grip skull crusher. Most people, when they're doing skull crushers, triceps extensions, they go with a pronated grip, so they're laying on their back and their palms actually face the sky. So in this position, as you're doing it, yeah, you get the medial head and you get the lateral head a little bit when you're doing the skull crusher, but you're not actually getting a full contraction of the triceps. So just take your hand now with your palm facing the floor straight out in front of you and try to flex your triceps as hard as you can. Now turn your palm up and you're going to feel it get a little bit shorter, because now once you've supinated, the triceps is now lined up and actually able to fully shorten in this position. Then when you go into doing when I go into doing the French press, I have a neutral grip and I'm going up overhead. So I'm able to get the long head of the triceps a little bit more, whereas with the skull crusher, it's not going to get as much contraction. It's not going to get as much activity. And then as I switch over after that and do the triceps press downs with the band, there's 2 great things that come, 3 that come from the band. One is scalable. As the exercise starts to get really harder, you can change your grip is so that you can finish the set, so that you're able to you're not stretching the band quite as far because you're holding a little lower and you're able to go. And then in the beginning, when you're a little more fresh, you can make it a little bit harder. Also, because the actual resistance on a band gets harder as you stretch it, you're forcing yourself to accelerate through. So you're really getting the triceps to work as it's really intended, as an extensor. Extensors work a little bit better or a little bit more forcefully as they extend. That's why bench press, you get stronger at the top. Squat, you get stronger at the top. It's the same thing when you're doing, it's the same kind of idea why I'm doing it with the band. And then the last thing with that is you're able to get the short head a little bit more in that position. So, jumping right in. All right, now into the triceps and doing the reverse grip skull crushers. So here my hand is basically in the same spot as it was for the reverse curls. It's just now the weight's coming down towards my face. I'm really trying to focus here on keeping my upper arm perpendicular to the floor as I bring the weight down to close to the bridge of my nose. By the end, yeah, my elbows end up kind of tracking towards my feet a little bit, so got to tighten up there as I notice. And then the French press, the only way to put it, these just hurt the entire time doing them. Not hurt in like pain, it was just the triceps were just burning at this point. It felt like I was bending my arms a lot more than it looks like I am in this video. Kind of funny how the feeling can be that far off. And then the banded press downs, these it's just lactic work is really all it is. And because of the band, it's forcing me to try to accelerate through it. If I go slow here, I will not get any reps really. I have to go fast in order to complete any of the reps. Then we go set 2 and 3 side by side. So these, they look pretty much the same. They felt almost identical. So let's see if there's really any real difference here just watching myself. So one thing I do notice is that as I'm about to press, especially on the third set, there's a little, like jitter in my upper arms. And the French presses, these didn't feel good. They didn't go well. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Sure, the second set might be looking a little bit better here, but that third set, I'm trying to get my whole body into it because it's just not moving. And boom, there it is. That's where a small little cramp hit. Then walk over, do those press downs. This is just fun work. It's have to regrip a little bit, have to change the hand position ever so slightly on the third set there. I tried to make it a little harder and just go as quick as I could. It felt like I was extending all the way, but clearly in the video, I still have about 5 degrees. All right, so that's everything for today's 6-12-25 workout. Lactic acid feeling is everywhere in my arms right now. That was a great one. That felt really good. I only missed a couple reps on the last set of the French press, so I'm happy with that. My post-workout today is going to be the usual. 1 scoop of ATP Labs grass-fed whey, as well as a half scoop of their greens and reds whole food mix, and 5 grams of creatine monohydrate from Clean Athlete. If you want to get 10% off your order from ATP Labs, go to the link in the description below, atplabs.com, and use code Risling10 at checkout to get 10% off. This is good in both Canada and the US. So just a last little recap when it comes to 6-12-25. You want it to be hard. You want to feel like that 25 is a fight. That is how you want it to be. You are fighting with yourself to somewhat grit through and get it. There's going to be times you just can't, but you're trying to do it. You don't give a half-ass effort there. You don't hold it in the bank. You go after it. That is where you go basically right to failure. Especially on that second and third set, you're going to be fighting for it. But that's everything for today. If you like this video and you got any value from it, please take a moment now to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. That's going to be everything for today. Coach Tony, Risling Podium Performance. Embrace your potential.